what happened in Little Rock in the 50s.
Yeah. In fact, next Tuesday is the 50th anniversary of Central High. And on the 40th anniversary, I was there. We had a powerful ceremony in which President Clinton came back, and of course it was 40 years to the day, and we opened the doors to Central High School, and the Little Rock Nine walked back in with the full support as opposed to the 50 years before. By the way,
my daughter is a graduate of Central High School, and so it's somewhat of an irony that she was going to that school 40 years later.
Things are better, certainly, dramatically better than they were 50 years ago. Certainly they are. I mean, I can remember Jim Crow laws. I remember the separate entrances to theaters and restaurants and separate water fountains and waiting rooms and all those things. It's hard to believe that in my lifetime there ever was that kind of thing, but there was. Are they better? Yes. Are they perfect? Far from it. And there's still, I think, a long way to go for us to get to the place where people do not look at each other first with their sense of color. And that goes both ways. I feel like in many ways, one of the reasons that I'll be the best nominee for our party is that I've proven I can break through that barrier, particularly for Republicans. I got 48% of the African-American vote in my state as a governor candidate. I challenge you to find any Republican in America, white or black, who got 48% of an African-American vote as a Republican. You'll be hard-pressed to do it. I don't know if you can. I'm not sure there is any anywhere. And people say, how'd you do that? I tell them I earned it. It's real simple. First of all, I never assumed I couldn't get it. Republicans have historically written off votes of entire segments of the population, whether it's unions or African Americans or Hispanics, and that's crazy. My experience is African Americans don't want things a whole lot different than other Americans. They want safe neighborhoods, good schools. They want the capacity for good jobs. They want an economy that will work with them, not against them. They want to have strong families. There's no difference. It's not like you have to change your message and suddenly do it differently, but you can't show up in October of an election year over the African American community and say, oh, we forgot you for the last 4 years, but I wanted to come over here just in these final few days and tell you we're really with you. Well, they know better than that. I mean, nobody's that naive. And so it's a matter of showing throughout your entire tenure, through the appointments you make, through the policies that you create. If you, for example, if we have, as we did, a disproportionate share of African Americans with hypertension and tobacco-related illnesses, so we spent citizens because that's where the need was greatest. We didn't say, okay, they're 17% of the population, so they get 17%. We gave 31% of the resources because there was a higher rate of tobacco-related problems in that community. That matters. It matters that I appointed the first ever African American to a constitutional office position when there was a vacancy, or to Supreme Court positions, or to the first ever budget director in the history of the state. I had a better appointment record than probably Bill Clinton did. And that was tough because as a Republican, there's not a big pool of African Americans to start with that want to be in a Republican administration. So that's what was significant. I had Democrat African American senators making radio and television spots for me in re-election and campaigning with me door to door in the African American community against a Democrat opponent that Bill Clinton was coming down there 5 times to endorse, because they knew that my record was better in hiring and appointing and creating opportunities and educational benefits. Again, you have to earn it, but